Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be exploring how computing and data acquisition are becoming more and more intertwined.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating trend.
It is. We're going to be looking at predictions that were made back in 2002 and how they're playing out in today's world.
Yeah, and the article that we're diving into today was written by William L. Weaver.
Okay.
And it was back in April of 2002. He really explores this idea of calm technology. So technology that just blends seamlessly into our lives.
Okay. Calm technology.
Yeah, without constantly needing our attention.
I like that. Like, it just works without us having to always, fiddle with it.
Exactly.
And Weaver talks about this in the context of computing.
Yeah, he uses the work of Mark Weiser, who was a computer scientist.
Okay.
And he envisioned these three eras of computing. The first era was the mainframe era.
Okay.
And this is something that I think a lot of us can remember. These were the massive computers.
The giant computers.
Yes. The giant computers that took up entire rooms. Really expensive. And only a select few could actually have access to them.
So like in those old sci-fi movies.
Yeah, exactly. You have to share time on the system. It's hard to imagine now with our laptops and our smartphones.
Right.
That was the reality.
And then came the revolution.
Yes.
The personal computers, the PC era,
Yeah.
where you could have your own. Weaver makes a great analogy to the automobile. You can own several PCs,
Right.
but you generally only use one at a time.
Exactly.
So that was a game changer.
Oh, absolutely. Democratized access to technology. And it really paved the way for the digital world that we live in today.
And now we're on the cusp of something even bigger.
Yes.
The ubiquitous computing era, or the UC era.
The UC era.
This is where it gets really exciting. We're talking about a world where hundreds, even thousands of computers are seamlessly integrated into our lives.
Yeah.
Many operating without us even realizing it.
It's true. Your smartphone, your smartwatch, appliances, even your car,
It's crazy.
they're packed with computing power, constantly collecting information, processing information.
Mind-blowing when you think about it. All this is working in the background.
It is.
And, hopefully making our lives easier. At least that's the goal.
It's the idea, yeah.
What's really interesting is this evolution in computing has a parallel in the world of data acquisition.
Absolutely. So just like computing moved from these centralized mainframes to personal computers, data acquisition has followed a similar path.
Okay.
So in the early days, data collection and analysis, that was confined to specialized labs.
Oh.
And it would take weeks or even months to get results.
Oh, wow.
You'd have to carefully collect your samples and then ship them off to a lab and wait.
And then just wait. Yeah.
It was slow.
So slow.
It was very inefficient. But then, just like with PCs, instruments became smaller, more affordable, more user-friendly.
Yeah.
And this gave researchers and technicians the ability to do analysis right in their own labs.
In their own workplaces. Okay. But how do they manage all that data? I imagine it must have been a lot.
Well, that's where laboratory information management systems, or LIMS, came in.
Okay. LIMS.
Yeah, and you can think of LIMS as specialized software that helps labs manage samples, experiments, and results.
So like a digital lab notebook?
Yeah, like a digital lab notebook on steroids.
Okay. Got it. So LIMS streamlined that whole process.
Yes, absolutely. And this brings us to the parallel to that UC era in the realm of data acquisition,
Okay.
which is ubiquitous instrumentation, or UI.
UI.
Yes. And this is what Weaver referred to as the sensor in every pot idea.
Sensor in every pot.
Yes.
I love that.
So we're talking about a world where sensors are everywhere, constantly collecting data about everything around us.
Okay. So what kind of things are these sensors measuring?
Oh, everything. From
Yeah.
our health and environment to the performance of machines and infrastructure.
Uh-huh.
Imagine sensors that are monitoring air quality or tracking traffic patterns.
Okay. Yeah.
Even detecting potential hazards before they occur. I mean, the possibilities are really endless.
Like having a constant stream of information about everything around us.
It is. It is. And that's where the challenge comes in, right?
Yeah.
How do we make sense of it all?
That's a lot of data.
It is a lot of data. So we need intelligent systems that can help us filter, process, and interpret this data
Okay.
in real time and extract meaningful insights without overwhelming us.
So not just collecting data to collect data,
No.
but actually using it.
Exactly. Using it to understand the world around us and to make better decisions.
And these sensors, they have to be pretty reliable, right?
Oh, absolutely. They need to be reliable. And they need to be autonomous. They need to be able to operate without constant human intervention.
So like a self-driving car, but for data collection.
Yeah, kind of. Like imagine sensors in your home that are monitoring your energy usage,
Okay,
alerting you to any potential problems, and even suggesting ways to be more efficient.
that's pretty cool. What about in healthcare?
Oh, healthcare, huge. You could have wearable sensors that continuously monitor your vital signs,
Okay.
alerting doctors to potential issues before they become serious.
It's like having your own little personal health assistant.
Exactly. Looking out for you. But, all of this data collection, it does raise some concerns, right?
Yeah, of course. Privacy.
Exactly, privacy. It's an unprecedented amount of data.
Yeah.
And we have to be really thoughtful about how it's collected, how it's stored, how it's used.
It's a new frontier.
It is.
We're entering this new frontier of technology, and we need to consider all of the implications.
Absolutely. As we delve deeper into this topic, we'll explore how these challenges are being addressed
Okay.
and what the future holds for ubiquitous instrumentation. So we were just talking about some of those challenges.
Yeah.
And, it's a topic that requires careful consideration, but I think it's important to remember all of those amazing opportunities that UI presents.
Yeah. It really does feel like we're standing at the edge of something brand new.
It does.
It's exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
It is. But how do you see it actually, impacting our lives in the coming years?
Yeah.
Well, I think about it this way. UI is really all about making information more accessible, more readily available. So imagine a world where we have real-time data on just everything, from traffic patterns to air quality to the structural integrity of buildings.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that kind of information can completely revolutionize the way we design our cities, manage resources, respond to emergencies.
Yeah. It's like having a constant pulse on the health of our surroundings.
Yes, it is. It is.
But beyond those bigger applications, how could it impact individuals?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
You could have wearable sensors that not only track your fitness, but also monitor things like your blood sugar
Okay.
and alerting you to any potential health issues. Or think about smart homes
Yeah.
that adjust the lighting and temperature based on your preferences.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about in different industries? How could it transform the way we work?
Oh, the possibilities are just endless,
Yeah.
In manufacturing, you could have sensors that are monitoring performance of machines in real time, predict when they need maintenance, optimize production processes,
Wow.
increased efficiency, reduce downtime, lower costs.
Okay, yeah. What about agriculture?
Agriculture, yeah. You could have sensors in the fields that are helping farmers monitor soil conditions, track crop growth, optimize irrigation, leading to higher yields, more sustainable farming practices.
It really could revolutionize so many different fields.
It could. But here's where things get even more fascinating.
Okay.
As sensors get more and more sophisticated and we start adding AI, machine learning, they'll be able to do more than just collect data. They'll be able to analyze that data, they'll be able to identify patterns, and they can even make recommendations or take actions on their own.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about machines making decisions for us? That sounds like sci-fi.
It does, but it's closer than you think.
Wow, okay.
Like imagine your smart home noticing that your energy consumption's high and automatically adjusting the thermostat to conserve energy. Or your car detecting a potential mechanical issue.
Okay.
And it schedules a service appointment for you before it becomes a major problem.
That would be pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, right. But it does bring up some questions, like how much control are we willing to give up?
Yeah, for sure. Autonomy.
Exactly. How do we make sure that these decisions align with our values and priorities?
Yeah.
It's crucial as UI becomes more prevalent, we need to have those guidelines for how these systems should operate. Transparency, accountability, user control, all of that has to be paramount.
It's not about machines taking over.
No.
It's about humans and machines working together.
Exactly. In a more intelligent and collaborative way. But with all of this data, all this analysis, how do we not get overwhelmed?
Yeah, information overload is a real thing.
It is.
Right? So how do we filter out the noise and find what really matters?
Well, that's where things like data visualization and data analytics and machine learning come in. We need tools that can help us make sense of all of this, that can help us identify the trends, that can present the information in a way that is clear, concise, and actionable. Because it's not just about collecting it, it's about making it meaningful.
Right. And using it.
Exactly. To drive better decisions and better outcomes. I think it's going to take more than just technical skills to really navigate this new era.
Yeah, I agree.
We're also going to need people who can think critically about the data, interpret what it means, and use their knowledge and experience to make informed decisions.
So a blend of technical skills and real-world experience.
Exactly. The future of UI is going to require both. And it'll take people who can bridge that gap between the technology and human understanding.
And make sure that we use this powerful new tool responsibly and effectively.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's amazing to think that Weaver was writing about this stuff back in 2002.
I know. It's incredible. He really did seem to have a good grasp on where things were headed.
He was ahead of his time, and it's exciting that we're seeing so many of those predictions come true. Like that sensor in every pot idea that's
Yeah.
becoming more and more real with the rise of the Internet of Things.
It's crazy to think he was writing about all this back in
I
2002.
know, right? It's like he had a crystal ball or something.
He really did. He seemed to know exactly where technology was headed.
Definitely ahead of his time. But the really cool part is we're actually seeing so many of his predictions come to life now. Like that whole sensor in every pot idea, it's happening.
Yeah. With the Internet of Things, right? The IoT.
Exactly. It seems like everything's connected these days.
It does, doesn't it? Our homes, our cars, our watches, even our refrigerators. It's kind of wild when you stop and think about it.
It is. And all those connected devices are pumping out tons of data. It's like this giant web of information that we can use to, make things better.
We've talked about some of the ways UI could be used, but I'm curious about the really cutting edge stuff. What's happening right now that's pushing the boundaries?
Well, one area that's really exploding is the development of these tiny miniaturized sensors.
Miniaturized sensors.
Yeah. We're talking about sensors that are so small, you can basically put them in anything. Clothes, medical implants, building materials, you name it.
Wow, that's amazing. What kind of possibilities does that open up?
Think about it. Clothes that can track your vital signs, alert you to health problems, or even adjust their temperature to keep you comfy. Or buildings that can detect structural issues before they become a big problem. The potential is just mind-blowing.
It sounds like we're heading towards a future where sensors are everywhere but practically invisible. Like they're just seamlessly woven into our world.
Exactly. And as sensor technology keeps getting better, we can expect even more amazing things in the years to come.
So what's next for UI? What does the future hold?
Well, one thing that I'm really excited about is how AI and machine learning are being integrated with UI. We're already seeing devices that can analyze data and make decisions on their own. But as AI and machine learning get more advanced, we can expect systems that can predict what we need, optimize our environments, even help us solve really complex problems.
It sounds like UI could not only make our lives easier, but also help us understand the world around us in a whole new way.
Absolutely. All the data that these sensors are collecting is giving us insights into complex systems that we could only dream of before. It's leading to some amazing breakthroughs in things like climate science, urban planning, even understanding how people behave.
It's like we're seeing the connections between everything in a much deeper way.
Right. It's pretty humbling and also really exciting.
Yeah, it is. But as we explore all these possibilities, we can't forget that UI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
That's a really important point. It comes down to us, to humans, to use this technology wisely and responsibly.
We need to be having those conversations, right? About the ethical implications of UI.
Absolutely. Everyone needs to be involved, the people developing the technology, the people making policies, ethicists, the public. We all need to work together to make sure that this technology benefits humanity.
I think that's a great place to wrap things up. It's been a fascinating dive into the world of ubiquitous instrumentation. I've learned so much.
Me too. It's always so cool to explore these emerging technologies and think about what they mean for our future.
As we go forward, I think it's important for everyone to stay curious, to keep learning, and to stay engaged in these conversations about how we shape the future of technology. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.